Sean, are you here?
I'm here, man.
All right. Here in the new year.
In the new year, I got some protection with me.
Are you talking about condoms or what?
Nope.
Some twisted
Just in
tea.
case,
That's
just in
perfect.
case somebody jumps stupid.
That's perfect.
We gonna get it cracking.
You
I'm gonna go ahead
always
and,
gotta have a 24-ounce twisted tea on you.
Right, you always keep it on me.
Twisted tea and Campbell's soup. That's
Twisted
all you
tea
need.
and candle soup.
Whoops.
Yeah, man. So we you of course we're not sponsored by these people.
No, I wonder what Twisted Tea is doing with this. You feel like they would want to do something. I mean, they're out there now. Like Twisted Tea is
Yeah, they better
household-
get with it,
on a
man.
household anti-racist name.
Right, exactly. Get with it. Hey, I'm just thinking like how hard you had to hit somebody.
To bust it open.
To
That's
make
what
it
I was
pop
thinking.
open,
Yeah,
like,
that's
man,
what I was- But
you
the dude actually was still completely like
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
conscious as he was before that.
Oh, was he? Oh, okay. I didn't
didn't
watch
see the whole clip?
Mm-mm. After he hit him like with the fight videos, man. After the punch or the something, I always turn it. I don't like watching it, man. I don't
Oh,
like
really?
it. Yeah.
No,
But
he whacks him, and then the guy kind of stumbles back
I
up,
saw
and
him
then he
like mush, bang, like picking his shots on his
yeah.
face.
Then
I
he
was
like
ah.
pulls it back down. It's just like whack, whack, whack,
Yeah,
whack.
yeah.
And the dude's all right.
Yep, I deserve that ass whooping. Yeah, man, that's what he get. What calling people N-words, man. I don't understand. I don't get it, and I never will. And I just hope that every time that it comes out of anybody's mouth, somebody just pop right upside the head with the twisted pop right upside their
The
mouth with
TT.
it, man. Yeah, man. So anyway, that
It's so
gave
like
me a
weird,
good
like
laugh.
when you like encounter white dudes, they're like, no, I'm down. I can say that. You're like, oh.
Yeah. It's all bad. Yeah. Man, I think our mic levels is all right. It sounds like they're super loud.
We could turn it down a little bit, right?
Turn it down a little bit. We Shaquan, our producer,
She's producing from thousands of miles away
from
today.
thousands of miles away today. She's out there making it happen. So I want to make sure we shout her out, man. She was at a wedding of one of her good friends out there. So congratulations on your wedding.
That's right.
Then,
We should have played some wedding music today.
Yeah, how does it?
How's it?
I forgot the wedding music.
Here comes the bride.
Oh yeah.
That's all I know. That's
I
all
heard
got.
I heard the graduation song in my head when you did that. You know that?
I can't think of the graduation song now.
It's like the Ric Flair music. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man. Hey, congratulations on your wedding, on your marriage.
Not Shaquan, though.
And many,
Just to
many
be
more.
clear.
Yeah, Q didn't get married, man. Even though Q was looking good, boy,
Yeah.
she was out there trying to find her husband.
know,
Wasn't she?
right?
What? Yeah. All right, now, be careful. But yeah, man. So
She never gets that dressed up to come to the Chinook Center. Now I feel like we're like.
you know, yeah, man. We need to get that together, man. That was crazy right there. No. She did. You know, that's the. She did say that she never puts makeup on, man. Like she
That's
never
true.
does.
I guess
She
I
did
never
it
thought about that.
for the special event for her homegirl. So it was real dope, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's that we always give Shaquan a hard time, man. But she was on her job today.
Yeah.
Hit us on FaceTime and everything, man. So yeah, we miss you. Be safe coming home. We'll see you tomorrow sometime or something like that, huh? Anyway, what we on, man? What you do for the new year? Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year.
First
to
time I
you,
saw
too.
you this year.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
man.
It's been like a year
I
since
know.
I saw you. Wait, I haven't seen you since last.
Since
I
last
don't know.
year, man.
Some
Since I
dumb
seen you.
dad joke.
Right. I laugh at all that shit. It's funny to me. Yeah, man.
Wait, so you bought a Gatorade and you just brought the Twisted Tea for protection?
Yeah, just for protection.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's too early for liquor right now, man. It says it's 5%. I'm gonna wait. It's still cold. I wonder, do they stay cold by themselves? They probably stay
sure
cold
they do.
by themselves, man. Yeah. So
Did you
New
have a
Year's.
good New Year's?
Yeah, man. We was chilling. We was at the house, man. Got drunk. I was drunk posting on Facebook all day. It was fun.
Yeah, I
man.
woke up to a lot of messages. I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep putting Leon to bed.
I heard. I heard.
She's like, I was beat for some reason. I was just
You're
like,
old, bruh.
lay him down, and it's okay. I didn't mind.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I don't really do anything for New Year
Yeah.
anymore. New Year's Eve, so
Me either, man. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know.
that's
I
not,
probably
I partied really hard. Everybody actually.
Yeah, I'm out there till the sun come up. I'm really not, bro. I can't even do that, man. Like I did a show with D and Will on the Basement Chronicles.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I think I was out there till maybe like 9 something. Man, let me tell you, I was tired. I was in there yawning, like I was trying to fight a yawn on the camera.
I saw that.
Did you? Yeah. I was like, man, I can't do it. So then the next day was New Year's Eve, and I was like, man, I need to take a nap in the middle of the day. So I laid down when Jakari laid down and took his nap. I took a nap with him, so I was able to make it to
That's
midnight.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
like
good.
Leon's past nap, so
Oh, okay.
I don't get to nap.
Dang, man, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that time.
I'm always trying to be like, hey, like daytime naps are pretty good, right?
Right. You want to know something cool? Let's go fall asleep. That's funny, man, boy. But yeah, so yeah, we didn't do much. You know, we cooked some black eyed peas. Y'all didn't want no black eyed peas, man.
Oh, I got it. Well, I'm gonna go grab them from the fridge today.
Oh, okay, all right.
Sam makes them sometimes, but
Does she? Yeah, man. So I made a little Hoppin' John, man. It was good, and made some greens and cornbread, some sweet bread. It was good, man.
Sounds good. I'm pretty hungry right now, so I'm gonna go over there.
Pork up in there. Hell yeah, man. So anyway, that was good, man. We didn't do resolutions.
Yeah, did you make any
I don't
resolutions?
do it, man.
Why don't you make resolutions?
'cause
You're already perfect.
Well, shit. I wish. No, actually, yes, I am. Nah, man. I don't do it because I don't keep up with them, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I don't know. It was like I don't know. I guess I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to while I'm talking, trying to remember a time that I actually gave an effort to a New Year's resolution, and it just don't. You know, I think it was like, all right, on the first of the year, I'm gonna start working out for real this time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or
Well,
on the first of the year, I'm gonna start
gyms always
saving
have
money.
that huge spike in January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody does it. Yeah. So, or then like saving money, or whatever, my car or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That I'll try to make sure I hit a goal with or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
The oil changed this year.
Yeah. Don't wait until next January to change your oil.
I gotta do that myself.
But yeah, man. So I think that. But now though, with the all the community activities and stuff that we got going on, I think I did set some goals for myself to make sure I'm remaining a strong member of the team. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of rejuvenating my whatever the focus that I needed to have. Focused and realign. That's what I said.
That's right. KRS-One.
Yeah, KRS-One. That's my motto
protests.
for this year, man. Focus and realign. So that's
We
what
need to all take more wise advice from KRS-One.
do we, man. He got his new album, y'all. If y'all haven't listened to KRS-One new album, South Carolina. After we get off the show, if y'all still on the road, you should listen to KRS-One on that YouTube. It's crazy. His album, of course, is not gonna make like a whole lot of splash in the industry or whatever. But I guarantee you, man, your favorite rappers is listening to that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
all the rappers from today grew up listening to KRS-One, I'm sure.
And the things that he's talking about in there, and the relevancy to what we're doing and who we are right now as a people is just dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's right about everything. I talked to you about some of his messages around separatism and stuff that I'm like, I'm not vibing with that, bro. But you know what I'm saying? I feel it. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that like his perspective on it, on just us as a society and as a people, and then like his the way that he tries to put it through his art. He does masterfully put it through his art. I think it's worth paying attention to, man. And it's like his whole body of work. He got 23 albums out.
I didn't even
he's
realize that.
23,
Oh
man.
my God.
And it's like, if you just pick one and listen to it, like, as a body of work that it is, you know what I'm saying? Each one of them is like, man, that is ridiculous. Just crazy the things that he was saying when he was like 20 years old, 28 years old.
That many albums.
Yeah.
Boy, I feel like a failure.
Yeah, he has a bunch, man. He has a bunch.
No albums. I have 0 albums.
We don't have none.
Out.
We were talking about making a playlist, dog.
Oh, we should make a
We
playlist.
should make a playlist, man. I think we should.
I was going to ask folks what they want to hear on it, but I don't care what they want to hear.
Right.
We'll just put what we want them to hear.
Right, we are eclectic in nature.
Okay, my resolution. I'm coming up with a resolution is to care what other people think.
Yeah.
No, I think I care too much what other people
That's
think. actually.
me too,
Like,
bro. I think that like as much as we say that we're like f all that, you know what I'm saying? I think that we still got we got a little ways to go
Right.
and not giving a damn.
But that's
people
what comes with being a people person. Like if you're actually interested in like doing work in the community, then you kind of have to care, right?
What people
that's
think
the,
is
yeah,
the-
that's
is
the
it-
nature. That's exactly what
So
our
it's-
society. John's gonna go off on a thing right now. Our
What is
society cares too much only about themselves. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we actually worry not enough about what the community thinks. Like I have this whole theory about like the new emergent self that I teach sociology, so I have to go
Okay.
off on this.
Yeah.
And I call it the Disney self, where the focus is just like on you as an individual. Like like that you are essentially you when you're born, and there's just like you don't ever learn anything or become something new. It's just like you're born the person you are when you are born.
Yeah.
And that the society's always trying to change you, but that's ridiculous. Like we're products of society.
Right.
So
Yeah.
society is like a present force on us every
All the
day
time.
of our life. To
Yeah.
pretend like we're just like born as ourselves, like I don't want to be that person. That would be such a boring person to be.
Yeah.
Like for 80 years to just be like
What you
one
arrived at.
person.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Like that's
no.
ridiculous.
I hate that, man. I hate when people treat you that way too. Like I commented, when you have to tell someone that you traveled to the place that you are, that you didn't just arrive here
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
40-year-old black man in America. Like, nah, bro, that was a whole long ass trip I took. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Or like anything, all of these things that just you it's the whole travel that you get there. Then being able to say, okay, that was my perspective, and I'm very strong around my perspective. But guess what? This guy John, he was around just as long, and guess what? He
has his own.
had a journey too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? It is crazy when you just like really say, oh man. I don't know, like take that for what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
It's
exactly.
crazy the places that you could go, and
I mean, that's really where you come from understanding. Like, going into the world with that sort of understanding of humans, it's a really healthy place to come from.
Yeah.
I say that, but I don't know. I haven't learned.
You don't do it?
But no, I mean, I try to, but it's hard sometimes.
It's hard, yeah. I agree, man. I had in 2020 last year, I had this person tell me, you are misogynist by nature just by the fact that you grew up a man in America, and I was like, what? Like it just that was the like craziest thought to me, and I still. I reject that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I recognize that, of course, it has to be. I grew up in this place.
You grew up in
You know what I'm
patriarchy,
saying?
like,
Right.
it's gonna give you certain ideas.
Yeah.
But, like, by nature, too, that's what gets me. I'm like, well, nobody's anything really by nature.
Mm.
There's very little of us. that
Except
is,
free.
like,
Except free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's even just, like, sort of a broad idea, right?
Okay.
Like, the nature of ourselves, I'm like, I don't know, maybe psychologists would disagree with me, but, like, there's very little that we're born with that we can't change throughout our lives, right? I mean, yes, a lot of socialization happens when we're young, but
Yeah.
like you said, we can grow and learn. Even if you're raised in a patriarchal society and you become misogynistic, like, to be perfectly honest, like, I have all kinds of misogynistic crap in my head.
Yeah.
That, like, it's taking time to, like, undo and rethink, right? Because we're raised
just
that
grew
way.
up here,
I mean,
yeah.
even our parents,
Exactly.
like my mom was raised in a patriarchal society, so she has these same notions, even though she's a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
And so,
yes, and it takes time to like learn what you learned, and then to unlearn those
and
things.
then come back and try to learn some more. Yeah, like get to where you need to be. Yeah, like catch up. You know what I'm saying? And that, and then what's crazy to me is like you could put that thought with anything. With black people, with
Yeah,
Native
exactly
people,
gonna say
with
that,
any
exactly.
people. You know what I'm saying? With whatever all of these things are, people that are disabled. With mental illness, all of these things,
Yeah.
it's all the same thing, and all you got to do is just do that. And it's been for me, it's a really simple and easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you get around the discussion of like, LGBTQ rights and like rights, and the things that they're being afforded now in our society finally, and the pushback that they get still, and I don't know. The things that you hear, that you'll hear people that you actually respect and like that you are friends with, and you'll hear them say something like, "Whoa, hold on, bro." Stop the presses. We got to stop right there. You know what I'm saying? And kind of undo that, because you know what I'm saying. It's just like there's not a real understanding around the harm that your thoughts will have on these people. You know what I'm saying? And yes, your thoughts create your perspective, and your perspective, you act on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's harmful. And yeah, man. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and it's a big thought, and it's a lot of work too, right? It's like you gotta want to do that. Just like saying you're a vegan or a vegetarian or something like.
You know, I've met people that call themselves vegetarian.
Yeah.
And eat meat. I'm like, no, you don't just get to call yourself that. They're like, well, I tried. And I'm like, okay, well, say you're trying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's the same thing with being racist and anti-racist. It's the same thing, right?
Right. So, or like, I'm not racist, but like we're all raised in a racist society. I know I was raised like when you have images of like black men as thugs basically in every single movie.
Right.
Me growing up in the 80s and 90s, like obviously I'm going to carry those things with me.
And then I'm going to act like that.
Exactly. Right, like so we have. That's a good point actually. So we have to start unlearning those things, and that's the difference between being like, no, I'm not racist. I don't like the people who say I'm not racist. I don't even see color. Right. To being like, no, I'm anti-racist. I'm actively trying to fight those things.
Right.
And I think that's like a big political divide right now in our country. Like I think a lot of the like Trump folks are like, no, I don't see color, which is like such a ridiculous thing to say. Like, give me
that's the dumbest.
Like unless you're hue blind, you know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
Like I understand what they're trying to say. Like I don't care. It's just about people's personalities, which is a great idea. Like no, I don't care like what color skin people have, but it's like, but you're kind of raised in a society that like affects people. And like you need to understand that has affected people's lives too. Like so.
Right.
But I really think that's really the like the major difference in political perspective.
Yeah, me too, man. And I think that just the term anti-racist. You know, I've said it a couple times. I don't know where I heard it. Matter of fact, I think KRS-One might have said it. But
he's pretty. I mean, 23 albums. He's gonna have
yeah, but that the world, you know, it feeds you poison by the pound, you know, and we just take it in, and swallow, and then somehow we regurgitate the cure to it every single time. And so just like, you know, we're talking about the stuff with Trump, and I haven't heard the term anti-racist ever before until this year.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I don't know if I'm not sure if it's a new thing or if it's like just reborn kind of thing, but it's a cure. It feels like it's a cure to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it's not good enough to just say I'm not. You got to be totally against it. You know what I'm saying? To trying actively to break it down wherever you are. So yeah, and I feel like we got to that, man. We got to that point where it's like that's kind of the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everywhere you go, like nah, bro. And there are people that feel these things and understand how it works, have a avenue and an outlet or somewhere, resource somewhere to be able to affect when they see injustices happening around them and things that aren't right happening around them. You know what I mean? So.
You know, and young people definitely are much more on the like anti-racist perspective, I think, rather than the like non-racist perspective. And I'm happy too because I think a lot more people are starting to see like all of these things as systemic. One thing I don't like about New Year's resolutions is they're always like self-focused, which obviously like you try and better yourself, but I think New Year's resolutions need to be more like New Year's revolutions.
Yeah.
Where we're actually trying to change things systemically. Like, let's think about the world as a system and how we start to change those things. Because a lot of activism is actually like focused on trying to change an individual's like attitude or whatever. I'm like, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, you know, there's a thing that I use in my sociology classes when I talk about discrimination and prejudice. And a lot of people can be prejudiced, but they can be not discriminatory. And I think it goes back to that quote. Whose quote was it? He's like, I'm going to butcher this quote, and it's going to annoy me.
Okay,
but like,
it's all right.
If a white man wants to hang me or whatever, or lynch me, that's his problem. But if he has the power to do so, that's my problem. And that's basically it. You can have a lot of prejudiced people in the world, but if they don't have the power to actually carry out any actions to hurt other people, it kind of doesn't matter, you know? Like, eventually they're going to become, like, through the process of living in society, they're probably going to become less and less prejudiced towards something.
Huh.
So you can also have discriminatory, like if you look at Jim Crow, right? I'm sure there are plenty of people in the South that were not racists, but they had to live under Jim Crow themselves, white people in the South, but they lived under Jim Crow, and so I'm sure they abided by the rules of Jim Crow.
Yeah.
So they were participating in a discriminatory system, even if they themselves weren't prejudiced. So it's helpful to think about the difference between like actions and attitudes, and then where power falls within that, right?
Right.
So I wish more people would just focus on that rather than being like, you're a bad person, you need to change your attitudes. It's like, look, it doesn't matter what that person thinks as long as they don't have the power to actually affect people in a negative way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd
Yeah.
be great if everybody was just like great and didn't have prejudices.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to start thinking about how we change systems, because really systems are what change people's
Right.
actions and
Yeah.
attitudes eventually.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy that and then, you know, broadening. So I've heard that definition of, you know, black people can't be racist. You know what I mean? Because we don't have the
'cause the
structural,
power,
the
right, right.
infrastructural
Yeah,
power
yeah.
to do anything about our prejudices. So, but like a poor white person, I don't know. I guess they could, because they, you know, I don't know. They could call the cops. I guess in certain ways. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's a weird. I guess that's a.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about, that's why I
Different.
don't ever use that race. Like when we talk about racism, you're right. Like
Mhm.
in the social sciences, it tends to mean like discrimination and power. You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
But like most people don't use it that way. Most people in the world think of racism as like you just don't like a person of another race, right?
Right.
And that's why that whole conversation, I'm like, whatever. That's like,
They're not the same thing.
if you're talking to just regular folks, that doesn't make a difference. You know what I'm saying? You need to talk about things in the ways that people understand them.
Yeah.
Not try to like prove how smart you are.
Right. Like,
You know
that's
what I'm
actually
saying?
not really what we're talking about here. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Right. Well, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. Because
exactly.
it's true. People of any race or ethnicity can be bigots, for example,
Yeah.
or have prejudices against people.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they have like the institutional power.
Exactly. Yeah,
necessarily,
to
right?
exercise that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, man. That's a deep thought, man. And I think, you know, I'm being serious, you know, because of the fact that you know, the power of your word. You know what I'm saying? And I guess really the power of your thought, that, you know, in your word, that it literally can mean like completely something different to someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah.
And understanding, like, I don't know, just being aware that it's here, that possibility is there to happen is a good thing to know, and to keep in mind when you're going, because, you know, when I was in school, I was in college, and I forgot the class I was in, but then we were talking about language and the way that humans use language and whatnot. And, you know, there's some cultures, like right now, that don't have words for the past tense.
Right. Because
Like,
it's all.
They don't even. It's not even a thought. Like just imagine, like, you can't even think about yesterday.
Right.
Like, you know, if you didn't have the word yesterday, you wouldn't know what to think about.
Right.
You know
Because
what I'm saying?
it's a mental construct. or
Right. So
whatever.
like they went through yesterday, but like even just the thought of it's not even a mention of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
imagine going through life like that.
This is that linguistic relativity hypothesis. The
Right, yeah,
idea
yeah.
that the way that you talk about things shapes the way you think about things.
Right, yeah, exactly, man. And you know, there's truth to it. I mean, it has to be some truth to it, right? Because I mean, it literally changes your perspective on the entire world. If you don't even like, there's not even a word for last year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's an interesting
Like,
thought.
It's just a blank nothing
Because
there.
you know, when you think about it, the concept of present is actually a really impossible concept to define, because the present you could say is like the moment you're living in, right?
Right.
But you can keep breaking down a moment into infinitesimally small
Yeah.
units, right? So in some ways, the idea of the present is silly.
Mm.
There's only the future or the past,
Or the
things we
past,
can
yeah.
imagine or things we can remember.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I bet you there's languages that do
The-
that
the-
too.
yeah, exactly.
Like native languages are like, what do you mean? Like, we're part of all of this here, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I agree,
Or
man.
like the culture that has like 30 different words for snow or whatever, you know? Because
Yeah.
there's like, even like, yes, we can say that, oh, that's fluffy snow or that's wet snow. Like, that's the extent of like
What
snow
we think about
for
it.
us,
Yeah,
you know?
like
Like,
slush, what do you
but
for them,
you
it's
grow
a
up around
complete
snow, then
different
like
thing.
you're gonna notice all those tiny different things, and when you talk about it, that's gonna cue people to think about things in those ways.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. So, you know, and that you could talk about the police killing us, or I don't see that. I just well, we got to prove that the police are killing us at a disproportionate rate, or that a demographic is being raped more, or that it's hard for them to go demographic to go and talk to the police about their harassment and assaults and rapes. These things you just have to you have to believe these people when they're telling you this stuff, and then verify and go through whatever you got to go through to figure out how you're going to help the situation. But just recognizing that your perspective is literally
Comes
just
from your
like
perspective.
it's literally nothing. It's just the smallest little piece of the equation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, man. So.
Whew, so that's our discussion about resolutions.
Resolutions and revolutions. I like that, man. I want a New Year's revolution. And another thing that we're on the resolution thing, man. I was on social media and I saw, I think it might have been one of the Chinook organizations. I can't remember which one it was, so I won't say. But though, they said, hey, post your New Year's resolutions here. Let's hold each other accountable to them. And I'm like, okay, okay. It's social media, what I'm saying?
I mean, at least that's a good way to
But
do
I mean,
it.
there are some people that'll be like, yeah, all right, man, such and such said this, and I'm gonna hit them up in June or something. You know what I'm saying? But if you think of it as, well, how about instead of thinking inward and think outward and hold ourselves accountable to our resolution this year? What are we doing as a community this year that we're gonna look at each other and say, oh, we failed that, didn't we? Or good job, y'all, we did it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Which
So
brings us right into what we should, our next point.
cool. What are we focusing on?
During the new year, what should we be focusing on as
Yeah.
a community?
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to start out the new year. Start to as activists too.
Right.
Like what do we actually want from the future? Which I think I think there's a tendency for activists to live in the
Now.
present.
The right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Because they're kind
exist.
of reacting to things all the time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're like, we got to take care of this or this or this or this. But it's like, what do we want to look forward to in the future? And in fact, you're always talking about the 30, 60, 90-day outlook or whatever.
that's my thing right there.
But it's a good idea to have that. Okay, what do we want in the short term? What do we want in the midterm? What do we want in the long term?
Yeah.
Because as a socialist, I'm always like, well, global socialist revolution. That's more of a 90-day plan than a 30-day plan.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that 2 months from now. Let's get this one done. No, you're right. I see what you're saying. So how do we do that as a community? How do we get on the same page? Or do you not want to?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
I mean, I hadn't thought about that. I didn't put that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking we could put a list together and say, hey, this is what we think or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can tell you what I think.
Right. I know. And so could I. And we probably our list might look the same in some ways. You know what I'm saying? But how? And I don't know. I guess we can't figure it out right here in this show. But if people that are listening and watching the live podcast or whatnot, ask yourself that question.
Think about what you want
am I
to do
really
over the next
down?
year?
Am I really for real down for this shit? To I'm going to do this and stick myself to it. You know what I'm saying? Or am I not? Because and then am I going to be the drain on the movement for the people and taking energy from the people that really are that said yes to that first question? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was reflecting on this recently. When I was a 20-something activist, I was always just the furthest ahead I was thinking was a couple months. You know what I'm saying? I was always just in that next fight or whatever, or planning that next event.
Right.
There was no mid range for me. I felt like, and nowadays I feel like I don't know. Maybe I don't have enough close range, near range stuff. Right. Okay. I'm thinking all the things further out or whatever.
The older you get.
And maybe that's where that balance is.
Yeah. I mean, and I think we knew that when we started our stuff. We knew that we needed to have young people around us. You know what I'm saying? We need young people over here, so we don't get into that. Where we're our old perspective is going out or whatever. And so I guess I don't want to get too far off into the weeds, because I do want to focus on the things that we feel that our community needs to focus on and start a conversation around it.
But how do we get there too?
Right, and yeah, how do we get to that? You know what I'm saying? How do we do it? So anyway, when you use the word defunding the police, You know, and it's like all instantly the Spidey's like, oh my God,
Everybody freaks out.
You got to start explaining word for word what everything means about it. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Like you need to be able to explain it eloquently. Like, no, this is what we're talking about and why we're talking about.
Well, there's a great article I just read that pointed out when people hear it, they're like, they freak out, like you said, the Spidey senses, because that's really only half the equation. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
You're only talking about the half where you're getting rid of money for the police, not the other half where you're reconsidering like what to do with that money.
Right, exactly.
That you're taking from the police and the different type of society that we're envisioning being created.
Right, like it's not, the money's not just going to hole somewhere.
Yeah. But, I mean, you really do have to start thinking, too, about, well, how, first you got to get the boot off your neck. Right, so it's hard. You're like, the boot's on my neck. That's all I'm going to focus on right now.
Right.
Maybe once I can breathe a little bit, I can start thinking more broadly about like how to fix things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a legitimate critique, I think.
Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, and like who sets the priorities for that? You know what I'm saying? Because if the boot's not, if you don't stand, ain't nobody standing on your neck, you're not seeing it. You know what I'm saying? It's not registering to you. So if you don't got 5 kids by yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's some stuff it's not gonna click for you the same way. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are trying. So yeah, man.
Well, think about all the people who the only interactions with police they've ever had are
bad.
Well, or good. Yeah, I mean, you have the two different sides of it. You know, they're like, oh, I got scared by something, which is a really strong base human emotion, and so I called the police, and that made me feel safer.
Right.
So like these are really strong emotions that people are feeling.
Like primal shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But other people, like you said, it's like basically every interaction.
Yeah,
with the police
like the police have never made me feel safe.
No,
not
exactly,
one time,
totally.
ever. Not once, ever. Yeah.
I mean, I've had to reflect on this. I'm like, why do I like? I don't like the police.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I know part of it is like different ways that I've grown up. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I've had some positive interactions with some police sometimes.
Yeah.
But in general, I was always like, you know, being a skateboarder, being a graffiti
Right.
writer,
Yeah. Where you were being
like
something
the
other than
police.
what they wanted you
Yeah,
to be.
exactly. And I think like those experiences shape people's attitudes, right?
You're right. Yeah, man. All of that. So anyway, what's crazy is that all of us, you know, these are the things when the community members and leaders come around and they're like, we need to go and reach out to the cops. And we need to put the olive branch out for the police. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, bro, for what? You know what I'm saying? They literally do not give a damn about that. You know what I'm saying? And
well, they've shown an unwillingness to do anything.
well, yeah, of course. Like if you just break it down, and it's a very easy discussion with people that are trying to hear and learn from it and listen. But the fact that you have to do it, and then you know, I learned this year too, that people where I'm from have a complete different perspective on cops than I got. You know what I'm saying? Like I would be happy if every single police department just there's not one cop anywhere in the world ever. You know what I'm saying? It would be great. And then but they would be scared though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There is
Like,
that,
oh
like,
my God, like what do we like we gotta buy all the guns up and everything. But
well, they were raised in the same society we were, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
man.
think about having a toddler. You've probably noticed this. Like starting at age 0, there's shows that are like the police are good. They're here to protect you. They're your friends. They're otherwise like crime gets out of control. Like our entire society is built around this notion of like how good cops are and how they are that thin blue line. And if we don't support them, then society collapses. You know, into Lord of the Flies or whatever.
Right, under the weight of your own filth. The police will keep you safe.
It's
from yourself.
it's a really dark vision of the world, though.
Yeah.
Right. If you believe that we have to have like all these armed agents roaming the streets, it really tells me more about your own mental perspective than anything.
Exactly. I had somebody yesterday tell me, because you know I was anyway. Long story short, we were watching this show. There was a cabin. They had a little secret place, and they went to go hide out from the police when they was chasing them. So I was like, "Yo, I've been thinking about this to go get me some land in Pueblo, so I could just have a spot."
Don't say where it is. Get some land somewhere.
Oh my bad. Well, too late. Anyway, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not hiding from the police either. I swear to God, I'll never run from the police. But though, I'm like, hey, I want to put a cabin out so we can go shoot outside or do something, whatever, like have fun. And they was like, man, Pueblo's scary, yo. And I was like, are you serious? What is scary about Pueblo? They're like, do you see every time they're on the news, it's something this, something that. And then, of
Right,
course,
exactly.
the cop got shot in the head down there yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was like,
I mean, there's a
and
lot of
then
drug addiction.
the
out
police
there.
just got shot. And I'm like, it told me way more about this person than me, like
Yeah.
the perspective on it than what the truth is. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So yeah, man, Pueblo's not a scary place. It's really nice down there, bro. It's really nice, man.
Like in high school, I lived in, or I went to high school in Pueblo. Every part of Pueblo is like.
Chill.
I mean, yeah, obviously there's worse neighborhoods and better neighborhoods,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like every
you can't
city
go down there
across the
acting
country.
a fool with them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
disrespecting their stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's a nice place, bro. Like you go in there, like you know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's a lot of racists down there though.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it's a
sure.
lot- it's a
Yeah.
lot
I
of
mean, I'm not
good-
sure I'd call it a nice place.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
place, for
that's
sure.
what I want to like. You know, it's just like it's not like you can go down there and be just fine. Like you don't have
Right,
to have
right,
a gun
right, yeah,
in
no,
Pueblo. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like
Jesus.
everything is perfectly fine down there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, anyway, yeah. I hate the
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
fight
in Colorado
that stuff
Springs
with
have
Pueblo,
a
man,
yeah,
because it's racism,
really
man.
bad.
It's
It
like
is, because it's like 50%
yeah.
Latino, so
And so
I
it's
think
all
that's where
dirty.
a lot
All
of it
dirty.
comes from.
And
It's
I'm like,
dirty,
bro,
it's
I hate, man,
scary.
especially when I hear white people say it's like, bro, you don't understand that shit. That's that's racist, man. You need to stop that because
exactly.
obviously you don't even live down there. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Yep.
but yeah, man, it's not a dirty place.
Fighting those
I love-
feelings.
Yeah, I want to be in Pueblo. Like I want to go down there and get some land and stuff. And I like it down there. I do,
You
man.
said that before.
It
I'm just
reminds
like,
me. It reminds me of like my kid, like when the Springs used to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of just chilled out. You know what I'm saying? Got a 2-lane highway. Go get you
right,
some.
right. It is pretty mellow.
vegetables and
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, it's just too damn hot, man.
Yeah, and that too. Exactly,
Lack of
bro. Like
trees.
it's cold as hell up here. You in Pueblo?
It's
You're
still- it's
golfing.
pretty
You're
cold,
outside.
though, in Pueblo. Like,
Man, anyway, man, y'all hating on Pueblo.
it's just
So-
the heat. I'm not a big fan of that like high desert.
Yeah, it does.
Although it's got the river, which is nice.
right. That's what I'm saying. It's like a whole nother environment. I like it, man. That's what I
Let's
like.
go
about
down,
it.
take my canoe down to the river
We
this summer.
should, dude. Hell, I'm not bullshitting. We should go
No,
down
definitely.
there. That'd be fun, man. So, and again, this thing. What's that cahoots thing that you was?
Oh,
that you
okay.
was
So one
talking
of the
about?
things, since we're going back to like what should we focus on for the, I mean, personally, I think the one thing we need to continue to focus on, and we tried to do this with the people's budget, but we need to keep pushing. This is what I tell a lot of young activists.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they try something once and all, well, that didn't succeed. I'm like, part of it is you just got to stick with shit, man.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Consistency, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, the people
'Cause if you-
react to consistency.
Exactly. People see that you're like dedicated.
Yeah.
Like when people see dedication, they actually believe that there's
Yeah.
something to that.
That
you know
investment,
what I'm saying?
that initial investment
Exactly.
for people is valuable.
But I think we need to continue to take money from the police. And one of the things, the city's always like, but how can we take money from the police? That's just going to, those dark visions of the world that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
But so one of the things that exists out there is this Cahoots program that they have up in Eugene, Oregon, which is like, a little hippie town up in Oregon. But it started back in the 60s. Basically, they're like, we don't need cops showing up to people who are having like mental health problems, drug problems, like having a bad trip. You don't need. That would be the worst thing to have a cop show up to. I can't even imagine that.
On drugs, yeah.
That would be
Man,
horrible.
I'm on drugs.
Uh,
Yeah. So they started this in the 70s.
So and it was just informal at the time, but then they formalized it with the police department, and even the police department in Eugene now is like, yeah, we don't need to be here. Let's call Cahoots. Like they'll show up to something. So 911 operators will decide whether or not it goes to a Cahoots person, or the police or
Okay.
whatever. Just like they would do with like
Fire,
or
yeah.
a firefighter or a cop. And they'll send them out, and it's usually a EMT and like a social worker of some sort.
Okay.
But a lot of them have experience in these. They've suffered drug addiction, they've lived on the streets, so on and so forth. So they have that empathy.
Okay,
Going
yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
And I don't. It's not like that's fixed Eugene, but it has at least fixed those encounters where people walk up. A lot of people, and like we were talking about, when you see a cop walk up to you, like I know when I do, I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
you're tense up, and
Right,
that's
exactly.
a lot of people, especially if you're on drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you don't need a person in a uniform with a badge and a
Right.
gun and a taser like walking up and making the situation worse.
Exactly.
So these folks show up, but usually all they do is help. They like do some tasks for them. Like I was reading about them, and like this one guy had a freak out because his girlfriend had filed a restraining order, and he'd been drinking, and got, I don't know, he wasn't necessarily violent towards her, but like yelling and being loud, and the cops come and they're like, why don't we just call cahoots? And he's like, look, I want to keep drinking, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And the cops are like, well, you have to get sober if you go to the mission. And so the cahoots people are like, we'll find you a cheap hotel that you can stay in, we'll drive your car over there since you can't drive over there. Basically just like, let's find you a place to cool off.
Right, like just
because
stop
so many
it.
people, I mean, think about how many people get into huge trouble when they're drunk.
Yeah.
And even cops themselves know that. I heard a politician in Pennsylvania one time say, like, we shouldn't judge people for their worst day. Something along those lines.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think, a lot of cops do that because their job is to basically go out and they're like,
And go arrest people,
this
yeah.
person's being a real dickbag today.
Yeah.
And every single interaction they have with the world is basically people experiencing the worst day of their lives.
Right.
And so they have that perspective about the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people, after they sober up, they're gonna be like, "Oh God, no, I'm so glad
That was
like,
ridiculous." Yeah.
Exactly. And so a lot
And
of
then
people
you're
just
in
need
court,
that
and then it's
space.
like they know this. You're in court and you're in jail, and they're like, yeah, we probably could just let this and take
Right.
your ass home, but no, we're not.
No, well, because
We're
did you
dragging
see
you through
this
the
year
system.
the amount of money the municipal court made this year, just or 2019, I guess, or no, 2020 skyrocketed, and this is part of it. It's not like by accident.
Right, they do it on purpose. Yeah, they can.
This
can
is a way to
affect
bring
their
in
money. Yeah.
revenue too. When city budgets are strapped, like how do you get
Let's
money
arrest
out
more
of
people. Let's go get some more
You
slaves.
ticket them, and
Yeah.
and when people can't pay their tickets, then they get bench warrants. Like it becomes this whole thing that people get trapped inside of.
Mhm.
So like to keep people out of the criminal justice system it's better for them, right?
Right.
And it's even better for the criminal justice system.
Hell yeah, man.
Like I know I sound like just a reformist, but I'm all like, if you talk on these levels, I'm like, most courts and cops don't want to be tied up with these silly things. I mean,
Right.
hanging out at the municipal court, the things people are in the court for, you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, this is just like
They
dozens of
put- they-
people
you-
coming through on just like ridiculous things.
Yeah,
that-
and then for me, when I see that, I look around like, bro, I'm lucky as hell, man. Like that's crazy that they got you for that because
yeah, totally.
like man, whoa, I'd be doing way worse.
Yeah.
I posted that. There was a study done, some Harvard study was done that the average American commits 3 felonies a day.
Oh, I think I saw you posting something
Yeah.
about that. I
3
always try and make that
felonies a
argument.
day.
I'm like,
Yeah,
look,
man.
at what point do you think that person becomes a criminal and you're not a criminal?
Right. Yeah, it's like, nah, bro, you're a criminal when they say, all right, it's your turn to go to jail now. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And then, like, not only that, but like, your ability to make money to survive here stops because of that. The third felony that you committed a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just
exactly,
imagine that.
yeah.
Like, you're allowed to make the money that you make because all they got to do is literally put a cop on you to watch you like
Yeah.
they do these criminals and they'll get something. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? They can tap whatever they want and they'll get on every single one of us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we're in an over.
Don't give them ideas, Sean.
I mean, they could though. They already do it. Just not ideas. They do it, man.
They do.
If they think that you're a drug dealer, you was in the area with somebody. Now all of a sudden you're that
Yep.
person, and they putting all of this stuff on you. They can't get what they were looking for, but
Everything,
I got
yep.
this. I got all this stuff. Here you go.
Well, remember
Yeah.
back in the 90s when they passed all those ridiculous gang laws
Yeah.
here and across the country
Yeah.
where it's like, you could get in trouble for being, in a gang, basically,
Yeah,
an
exactly.
associate.
They took that away. Yeah, that freedom away from people to be a member of a gang. You know that that was literally the only trouble I ever had was being on somebody's gang list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, being on somebody's gang list, and then it was like just fucking with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everywhere, like doing
Well, that's
no
what
matter
they do.
what
I
it
think
was.
that's
You know
the
what I'm saying?
whole
Just
point.
like
If
you're on the
the
list,
gang
and now
list,
that's
yep.
that. Here's a target for you. You know what I'm saying?
It was actually the gang unit that raided our house when I was a
Yeah.
youngster. I mean, they
Man,
didn't charge us with any gang crimes, but it was
Yeah.
the gang unit.
Man, I hope they all died already. I hope they caught cancer and died.
They were way too powerful. But now that's not a thing. Nobody, remember the 90s when everybody was freaking out about gangs? But that's not, obviously gangs still exist, but there's
Right.
not that, panic right now.
Right, exactly. There's not money being made behind it. Ronald Reagan did that, right?
And Clinton.
Clinton too, and Biden.
And Biden.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and Biden. Yeah, bruh. So anyway, man. So what else should we be thinking about locally, bruh?
Well, so part of the second part of this, if you think about a lot of reasons people are getting in trouble, right, is because they don't have housing. Because they're insecure. Actually, that's why a lot of people get in trouble, is because they're insecure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not like mentally insecure, but
Right,
it's
right,
also
right.
probably
Yeah,
true
no,
too.
that is true, man.
But like, because you don't have enough money, you don't have housing, you don't, like you're precarious in some way. And like, I personally think, Colorado Springs is like patting itself on the back lately because they're increasing the number of shelter beds, which is fine, I guess. But they're also at the same time raiding people's camps and stealing their shit. And,
Right. Yeah.
Like, we need to invest in housing. And
Period.
not like 20.
Right.
Not
No,
like 20 every 2 years
yeah,
or whatever.
like 20,000.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
How many? I think the city came up with an idea of how short we were. It was like 10,000. Had a shortage of 10,000.
Yeah, then we're gonna grow, so we might as well just go to 30,000.
Yeah, exactly.
30,000 to keep up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But then their goal was like to build or maintain 1,000 affordable homes. I'm like, well, if you're short 10,000 in a year, why is your goal to like build or maintain
right.
1,000? Like, we need to start actually putting money into.
Yeah, I mean, that's a job creation. It's all kind of things. They talk about right now. There's a few people that I know that I'm close to that are real estate agents and brokers and things in the city, and they're like, man, we could sell houses with this rate, and it's like this. It's never gonna be that bubble that the 2008 stuff that's going on. It's just not that situation. But the inventory isn't there, so the houses are not there to sell to people. So of course, the prices are going to do what they do when the demand isn't there. So what I'm getting at is, he said that we need tradespeople. Like, we need people plumbers, electricians, people to build this shit, because it's not. We don't. That's the problem. We don't have enough people to build this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's crazy too. Like the whole New Deal in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Basically the entire country was mobilized to like give people jobs and bring us out of the Depression, right?
Right.
And same with World War II, like the whole country mobilized around this thing. The reality is, like, almost every city in the country has an housing affordability crisis.
Mhm.
We could actually mobilize the entire
country.
entire country
Right.
behind this,
Yeah.
but we refuse to because we're afraid that it might mess with the market.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Anyway, man. So I made it a goal of mine to I got to make. I said I got to make my own money, or our own money, so that we don't need to ask people for shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know how to start it, but there's got to be a
Marcus
way.
Garvey style.
Yeah, man, just do it. You know what I'm
Economic.
saying? Economic freedom, man. And like, we just gotta. It feels like to me that somebody needs a model of, oh, that's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's legit or whatever. Or like, either or and. Somebody needs to get in that seat where they flip the ticket and say that's what we're gonna do. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
where we're gonna actually have priorities.
Exactly.
These are gonna be the
and
priorities.
so like, and if we got both of those things happening at the same time, we can't be beat. You know what I mean? As a community, really. So, man, really, we could sit here, we could talk about it, and we understand that some of this stuff is based around, I don't know, it's really not opinion, it's fact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, it's not. There's no hyperbole behind it at all, and we know that people want to help do something about it. So, and there's ways to do it. So, I think that everything that we've seen, that all of this stuff that's installed wasn't put in or installed to stop homelessness or fix
exactly
homelessness.
what it is.
It wasn't there because of
profit.
what you just said. It was like, it's just to create something else that can make money, but it's not really gonna stop the problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think we need to do as a community. We need to figure, okay, all of this other shit, how about we take all of that money out of there and not fund it? You know what I'm saying? And put it where we need to have. We know
like
we
actually
need
funding human needs rather than just like making people rich.
Build buildings. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I gotta say,
what
I've
it
been
is,
like thinking about this
buy
more
land.
as like Chinook Center building cooperative housing. I know it's a big thing, but like if we could, I've been reading more lately about like nonprofits building housing and stuff, and lots of nonprofits do it. In Colorado Springs, there's nonprofits that build affordable housing. But if we could build affordable housing that's like cooperative, like all the like an apartment where all of the people who live in the apartment own it together, like we've talked about this before, like they have a lot out east. That would be
dope, man. I think we need to, bro. And again, the only thing, if we had $1 million, we would do it. It would be done already. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really just a matter of like, bro, we need to jump into there capitalist system and go and be better at it than them and take their money from them.
So give us
You
$1
know,
million, everybody.
Yeah, or
Probably more than $1 million.
Or I'm gonna pull up on you. Let's go rob all of the banks.
Right. Let's
together.
go back to this expropriation. Of
Yeah, man.
capitals.
Like, let's just get a group of 300 of us, and we'll just mob to the bank and run up in that shit and take all of the money
Right.
out.
The
of
only
there.
problem is banks don't have that much money in them anymore. Like
They
the
got
vault
something
does,
in there.
but if you
yeah,
rob a
wherever
teller
they got
now,
the money
yeah.
at, wherever the real money, the money's at, that's what we need to just get about 400 of us and go up in there and
Right.
we'll just take all of it, and it'll be easy. You know, Killer Mike, he said it, man. He was like, you know, we can solve the problem right now. It's very easy. It's just that we're scared of it. You
Yep.
like all you gotta do is go and kill all of them. Just kill
your
everybody,
masters.
all of them. Just shoot Bill Elder, fuck the mayor, all of
You
kill
wouldn't even
every.
have- honestly, I don't even think you'd have to kill all of them. Like just a few, and they
Just the
start
first
to panic.
couple, yeah. Like so just imagine if Nat Turner had all these guns we had. How quick that shit would have turned around, bro. We wouldn't even be thinking about. We wouldn't be talking about this right now if Nat Turner had an AK-47. We wouldn't even talk about it. Everybody, they flip it up. So you know
Done.
that's what Mike Killer Mike said, man. It's very easy. We just scared of it.